ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. Today is Sunday. After a long time, a gap, we are coming back to our talks. Let us hope this will continue. The ill health will not distract me, will not disturb me. So today is Gita. We were discussing the 5th chapter. In the 5th chapter, I think 19th verse we have completed. We have to start the 20th verse. The 19th verse, in 18th and 19th, we were discussing Jnani's behavior. Jnani's behavior means not any given person's behavior. Jnani is not a given person. When a person gets enlightened, how does that enlightenment affect your behavior? Okay? Does it bring about any change in your behavior, in your relationship with people? So we are discussing how the enlightenment changes your outlook, your relationship with people. That's what the point here. Therefore, in the 18th shloka, Jnani sees samam brahma in everybody. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shunichaiva shvapakecha pandita samadarshina. So Jnani sees Brahman. Sama, the word sama means Brahman. Jnani sees Brahman in all these people. One is a highly cultured Brahmana, educated cultured Brahmana. Another is a cow. Another is an elephant. Another is a dog. Another is a Chandala. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things he has given. The idea is these 5 human beings, 2 human beings and animals. That means various kinds of human beings and animals. People of varying capacities, physical capacities, psychological capacities, intellectual, social, economic status, social status, their religious status. Religious means their occult powers and all. People may be of various natures, various capacities. How does Jnani, means how does an enlightenment affect his relationship, his outlook towards them? He says, in all these various things, this 18th shloka said, in all the people of varying capacities, varying natures, he sees one underlying Brahman. That means his vision of all the people is Brahman alone. His understanding of all of them as Brahman doesn't get colored by their external appearances. For this, I can give you a simple example. In ornaments, take a golden ornament. Ornaments are of various shapes and sizes, means designs, different design. You may love one design and you may not like another design. Take either a cloth or any vessel or any ornament. Ornaments are of different designs. One design is more attractive, more appealing compared to the other design. So the people, or you take a cloth, some design of a cloth looks better, more attractive, and compare it to another design of a cloth. Although the cloth is the same, but the design in which it is made varies from cloth to cloth, the stitched cloth. Okay, one stitched cloth looks beautiful. Another stitched cloth means another design you may not like so much. But the cloth as a cloth is one. So in these examples, through these examples, what we are trying to say is most of the people go by the external designs. They look at the designs, don't look at the quality of the cloth itself. So we go by the designs alone. One person likes one design and other things he doesn't like. Means people's attention rests at the design level alone. It stops at the level of design, doesn't go to the level of the thing itself. In an example, in this illustration, how people get stuck with the design. They deal with the designs, look at the designs, evaluate. They stop with that level alone. Very few people, like you see the goldsmith. Goldsmith himself doesn't go by the design. For him, design has got only saleable value. Because the customer likes this design, therefore, okay, we shall sell it to him. Therefore, he doesn't, you see, it's a very interesting thing. A goldsmith himself, who makes the various ornaments, if he likes, does he have a particular liking to any of the designs? You see, does he have any particular, does he have a special liking for any particular design? You ask them. It's a very strange thing. You ask a poet, ask him which of your poem you love most. You ask a musician, singer, which of your songs you like most. You ask a film actor, which of your role, which of the characters you have played you like most. You see, you will find a very common answer in all these people. They say, all my characters I like. If you see the film actor, he says, actor or actress, all my characters I like equally. Poet, all my poems I like equally. A singer, all my songs I like equally. A goldsmith, he says, all the designs I made, I love all the designs which I made. You wonder, how is this? Because the goldsmith's view is totally different. So, otherwise, suppose if goldsmith loved certain design alone, he would make only that design, other designs he would not make. But this is not the reality. Goldsmith makes various designs of ornaments because his attention is the liking of the customers. Customers like various designs. Okay, for sake of them, he may not be fond of any particular design because for him, all designs are equally same. He looks at only the gold behind it. Gold alone matters to him. Design, he keeps in view the customer's interest. Not for himself, gold alone. See the whole view, how it changes. Suppose if he starts liking a certain design and doesn't like certain design, he will find uncomfortable to make the design. He will not make. He will avoid the designs which he doesn't like. Then what happens? He will not be able to sell. People think that you have no good designs at all, only one kind of design all the time. So we don't like this shop, we'll go to another jeweler's shop. See, people go to another shop and say, what is this? He has got only one kind of a design. And you talk to the goldsmith, which of the design you like it? You suggest us. You go to the jewelers, ask him, you suggest which design is best one. He says, all my designs are good. Excellent, he says. Because for him, whichever you like, you take it. That's all. For me, gold alone, he looks at it. All the designs are equally good for me. Because he doesn't look at the designs. All the designs are equally same for him. He doesn't have such a preferences at all. Similarly, a poet doesn't have a preferences because all his poems he alone composed. Since all are my poems, I love them. Singer, all my songs I sang, therefore I love them. He doesn't impose his personal likings on a particular song. Similarly, an actor, film actor or actress, in all the characters they are present. I play all my characters, so I love all my characters. Why should I prefer, if suppose he loves certain characters and doesn't like certain other characters, what will do? He will not play. He will not play. He won't be able to do justice to it. See, he won't be able to, he or she won't be able to do justice to particular character, but he does them because he doesn't look at the character. He sees that I am in them, that alone counts to me. You see, in all these several illustrations I have given, there are two standpoints. One is the spectators, the onlookers look at the drama or a film, the listeners of music, the listeners of this poetry, they look at it. Some of the poems they like and some of them they don't like. Poets like all of them equally because they are all mine. Similarly, Jnani's view, does it rest on the external appearances which are more attractive? No. Jnani's vision doesn't rest on external appearances because external appearances attract certain kind of people because they look at these external appearances at the level of sense organs, at the level of mind. People look from the level of sense organ, from the level of mind. When you look from the level of sense organs and mind, your attention is only on the external forms. Some of them are attractive, some of them are useful, some of them you have an emotional attachment. See, mind means emotional attachment. Intellect has certain concepts of good and bad. And sense organs also like certain things and may not like certain other things. So if you look at things through the level of sense organs, through level of mind, through level of intellect, you feel that certain objects, certain things are more appealing than the other. You give more value to intellectually give value. Sense organ level, you go by the sensations. Emotional level, you go by its emotional attachment, emotional relationship. Intellectually, you give your intellectual values. Okay? You look at the worldly people through these three angles, three levels. Sense organs, sensation alone, how it appears, appearances are attractive. What attracts your sense organs, you like it, otherwise you say, this is dull and nothing, I don't like it. You just give it up. You don't look at it again. Once you look at it, no, it's not good, you leave it. You again don't think of it at all. Because you go towards what attracts your sense organs. So generally people relate to the world through level of sense organs. They see what is attractive, what is not attractive. They look at the emotional level, what appeals to their emotion, what doesn't appeal to them. Then when they look at intellectual, they have got certain value, certain concept or material value or economic value, social value. What is valuable? They like it. What is less value? You just reject it. Okay. So generally people relate to things through sense organs, through mind, through intellect. Jnani is the one, transcends these three levels. That's why Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini. Shunichaiva Swapake cha Panditas Samadarshana. Jnani's vision of the things transcends these three levels: level of sense organs, level of mind, level of intellect. See this thing. Sense organs mean attraction. Emotion means emotional appeal. It moves your heart, then you like it. If it disturbs you, don't like it, isn't it? Then intellectually, you have got certain economic, social values, intellectual evaluation. So go by that value. What ranks high in your value according to your intellectual value? What ranks high, you like it. What ranks low, you just ignore it. Or sometimes you just dislike it. So we common people look at the world through level of sense organs, level of mind, level of intellect. Jnani transcends these three, sets aside these three. He stands as a Sakshi, and himself being a Chaitanya Atma, when he looks at the world, his attention directly is on the Chaitanya Atma, which is inseparable with himself. He directly looks at the Atma and sets aside the sense organ level, mind level, intellect level. Okay. Therefore, Panditas Samadarshana. Pandita Jnanis, enlightened people. This we have seen in the second chapter. No, second, I think online we have not done. We did it privately. In the second chapter, Ashocchanan Vashochastvam Prajnavadanscha Bhashase Gatasun Agatasunscha Nanushocanti Pandita. See the nature of Pandita in these two places, in that second chapter 11th shloka and this 5th chapter 18th shloka. In these two places, who is a Jnani like? How is a Jnani like? Panditas Samadarshanaha, here he says. There he says, Gatasun Agatasun cha Nanushocanti Pandita. Panditas, enlightened people, don't grieve. Enlightened people see the truth, see Brahman all the time. Panditas Samadarshanaha. They always see the truth, Brahman alone. Sama is Brahman. They see the one Brahman. Here he defines Jnani's vision. There he sees Jnani is free from sorrow. Nanushocanti Panditaha. Panditas Samadarshinaha. I think word Pandita comes in another place also. I don't remember exactly. In another place also word Pandita comes. 3 places the word Pandita comes. Pandita means an enlightened man. In Bhagavad Gita, I think, I don't remember exactly. 4th or 5th somewhere else also comes. Pandita. So here anyway, Pandita Samadarshinaha, an enlightened Jnani's vision. So here his vision is from the consciousness. He sees the consciousness, he remains Sakshi and sees the consciousness. That means he sees only consciousness. Himself remaining consciousness sees the consciousness. Seeing means here consciousness is not an object of seeing. He sees means he transcends the other 3 levels. The idea is Jnani transcends his view, which is a common man's view of looking at things through sense organs, through mind and through intellect. Okay. In intellect you have got a value 2 ways. One is you evaluate the things. Second is you identify with them. At the intellect level there is an I identification of aham. Aham means I am, I. That notion of I notion, you identify with something. Jnani at the level of intellect neither sees any intellectual social value, nor he identifies with them. In identification you get a value. See, if you can identify with something, a person, that person looks more valuable to you. If you can't identify with a person, the person looks less important to you. If you identify with a money, a status, a power, or certain people, certain society, certain nation. Suppose you identify with a nation wherever you are born or you adopted a country. Either you are born in a country or you adopt a country. When you identify with it, you feel proud and happy with it. So you can't stand somebody criticizing it or it is going down, you get angry and then you don't like it. That means when you identify, you feel more comfortable with it, happy with it. You feel desirable. You feel that the thing is desirable to you because you identify. So identification is also a value. That's also important for you. So Jnani doesn't look at the worldly things through sense organ level, through mind level, through intellect level. Even in intellect, two things. One is evaluating socially, economically. Another is identification is also another value, another importance. Jnani doesn't look at things through his identification, nor through his social economical value, social and economic value. So that intellectual values he transcends. He sees directly as Brahman. Therefore, Panditas Samadarshinaha, Jnanis see the absolute truth, which transcends the view of sense organs, mind, and intellect. He sees directly the pure existence or the pure consciousness. Therefore, his view, his vision rests at that level. Therefore, Jnani sees everything as a Brahman. As I gave you the earlier illustrations, 2 or 3 or 4 illustrations I have given you, people, most of them go by the superficial appearances, but the actor, the poet, or the singer, or a goldsmith, 4 illustrations I have given you, these 4 people, a jewelry maker, a goldsmith, or a poet, or a singer, or a film actor or actress. Okay, these 4 people look at themselves in and through all their makings, in all their productions, in all their makings, in art, dance, music, poems, or any other production. They don't see the design is more important for them. Let it be any design. I am the one. I made all the designs. So my making is I love, not the designs. So similarly, actor looks at himself in all the roles, all the characters. He doesn't have any special appeal, special liking to particular character. Whichever character, if I assume, I like it, that's all. Let it be. I don't look at how the character is. In contrast with other characters, all the characters are equal to me. Means why equal? Because all of them mine. I am in all of them. So I am important. I love myself. He or she loves all the characters because he is in and through all of them. See how interesting it is. Poem, a poet produces all his poems. Since all are his own products from himself, he loves all of them. He doesn't look at their relative values. A particular poem may carry value because you talk to the poets. He says, oh, this my poem is more liked by people. Therefore, he says. A singer also, you tell which song whichever song you like, please sing, you say. He says, all my songs I like. Then he asks you to choose which one you like. And generally this audience says, you decide yourself which is the best song. And he says, which is the best? All my songs are equally best. This I think we can't understand. You have to look at from his angle. It's a very, very interesting thing. You have to look at from his angle. And then ultimately, the singer ultimately chooses one song and sings. How? On what basis he chooses? Does he choose this particular song? Is it because he loves this song more than others? No. He loves all his songs which he sang equally because all are his. He says, this has become more popular. People have liked it. The listeners have liked it, therefore I sing it for you. See, he looks at the people's, because that distinction doesn't count for him. Because if the people like, okay, for sake of me, he sings. But for him, any other song is equal. You look at the singers, you look at the poets, you look at the film actors, actors or actresses. See, they all like their roles equally. Similarly, Jnani doesn't look at the things through sense organ level, through the level of mind, through the level of intellect. He looks at them through his Atma. Then he sees everything as equal to, identical to his Atma alone. He sees everything as the existence, pure existence, which he himself is. Therefore, Jnani rests at that level. That means Jnani negates the level of sense organ, the view of the things through sense organ, through mind, through intellect. Therefore, Panditas Samadarshinaha, the 18th shloka, 18th and 19th I have been repeatedly telling. Again I am telling again. From different angles, different layers we discuss. That's why I say. Bhagavad Gita is such a thing. Our Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Vedantic Granthas. You have to do manana. More you contemplate, more new depth, new levels, new angles come. That's why. Okay. Ihaiva tairjita sargah. 19th. I say little bit in 5 minutes of 19th and we'll proceed to the 20th shloka. In fact, we were discussing the 20th shloka. Ihaiva, now 19th shloka, little bit. Ihaiva tairjita sargaha esham samye sthitam manaha. See, whose mind sthitam rests in Brahman. Samyam means that oneness. Oneness means the truth which transcends the apparent multiplicity, apparent variety. Person transcends the apparent variety and rests at the level where it is all one, non-dual consciousness. Okay, yesham manaha samye sthitam, whose mind abides in that Brahman, Brahmaswarupam, he tairjita sargaha, he transcends his individuality. Or by transcending individuality, he rests in Brahmaswarupa. Or when he rests in Brahmaswarupa, he transcends his individual jivatvam, individuality. He transcends his jivatvam. That means as long as you remain an individual, that means as long as you have an individual view, an individual standpoint, you will have to see the variety. You will have to see the differences. You will be liking some of them and don't like certain other things. So the seeing the multiplicity and liking and disliking things, all these things become inevitable if you have an individuality. You look at the things through individuality. Therefore, a jnani transcends that individual standpoint. That's why the enlightened person is one with the entire universe. He doesn't have preferences. He doesn't have prejudices. Okay? No preferences, no prejudices, because every entire universe, every object of it is inseparable to my Atman, myself. So how can you dislike or like yourself? Because you are yourself. You cannot think of disliking yourself. When the whole world becomes one with your Atma, you transcend that individual standpoint. The standpoint divides, discriminates. See, the individual standpoints divides the world into multiplicity. Then also it creates a prejudice. Some of them you like, some of them don't like. Means some are attractive, some are not so. So that individual preferences, individual outlook creates this division of liking, likable, dislikable, desirable, undesirable. Some are better, some are nearer, some are more attractive, some are less attractive. This is samsara. Therefore, the individual standpoint, As long as you have an individual standpoint, discrimination, prejudices are inevitable. Because you tend to prefer something to other. Some of them you prefer rather than the other ones. Because you see their external nature, compare and contrast and see some of them are better, some are not. This divisiveness, this multiplicity is inevitable. This variety is inevitable if you look at the things as an individual. That's why, however you refine your individuality, your individual standpoint, however you refine, until you transcend the total individuality, you become totally impersonal. You completely give up your individuality. Until that time, still you have prejudices. Some kind of prejudices, some subtle prejudices are bound to be there. That's why Jnani, or an enlightened man, is a person who is totally free from any prejudices. Because everything is, entire universe is myself, my Atma. So how can you say anyone you prefer, you like more than any other? Impossible. Therefore, he cannot discriminate. He cannot discriminate. He can't have bias, prejudiced for or against anything. He can't be prejudiced for something, prejudiced against something, because everything is himself. So that's what he says. Ihaiva tairjita sargaha. Sarga means birth. Birth means an individual, an individuality. He transcends individuality. He becomes free from birth and death. Birth means death. Birth, death means individuality. See, that means he becomes free from individuality. He becomes free from birth and death. He becomes free from a given standpoint in time and place. He doesn't have a given standpoint which is within time, within place, and related to some object. He doesn't have such a standpoint because his is a universal standpoint. Universal is not a standpoint because it includes everything, excludes nothing. The universal thing includes everything and excludes nothing. Therefore, he transcends individuality, or jivatvam, transcends his birth and death because he rests in Brahman. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. And that Brahma is free from all defects. Defects means what? Brahman is free from, how to say that, variations. Free from high and low. High and low. That means there is no second thing which can be compared and contrasted with. It is one absolute, universal and absolute thing. Brahman or the Atman is such an absolute thing which cannot be divided and discriminated and compared and contrasted. It doesn't have all these divisions. Therefore, nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Brahma is samam, means one absolute, and nirdosham. Dosha is variations. Variations of more and less, higher and lower, better and lesser. Okay? Doesn't have these variations. Nirdosha, he is free from all defect. Defect means where there is a comparison, contrast, then something is better, something is worse. Something is good, something is bad. This is inevitable. Therefore, nirdosham hi samam Brahma. He is free from all variable qualities, comparative merits. He sees that absolute truth, Brahman, which is free from all variable qualities, comparative, contrasting qualities. It is absolute, one without a second. Therefore, nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Brahma is of this nature. Tasmat Brahmanite sthitah. They stand as that Brahman, which is beyond comparison, which is beyond contrast, because nothing is away from himself. He is one total non-dual being. He is not an individual. He is one non-dual being, as you find in deep sleep. It is everything. You are everything there. You are not a given person in your deep sleep. In fact, the very deep sleep means transcending individuality. You are not an individual. You are absolute. Absolute means you can't explain, you can't define, you can't compare, contrast what, how, where, which, how much. You can't say anything about Sushupti. In deep sleep, what is it? How is it? How much is it? In what manner is it? None of them. None of these questions apply to your deep sleep state because it is just itself. It is everything. It is everything, really everything. So you just can't say anything. If you can say something, then that is called a describability. A describability means what can be thought of. Conceivability. Describability, conceivability. You can conceive, you can describe. Describability and conceivability is the nature of the world, worldly things. But Brahman is beyond description, beyond conception. That means he cannot be categorized as into something good and bad and high and low and better and low, lesser. These things doesn't apply to him. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. See, the word nirdosham is a beautiful expression. These are all Vedantic words, so they have to be understood in a Vedantic way. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Brahman who is samam as well as nirdosham. Sama is absolute. Nirdosha is free from all variations. Free from all variations of up and down and high and low. It is just one uniform non-dual thing. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Tasmat Brahmanite stitah. Therefore, one who knows that Brahman, he transcends individuality, himself is Brahman. Okay, this is the Jnani's understanding. This is the Jnani's outlook towards life. Does he look at the world as full of apparent variations? Variations in appearances, variations in qualities. Does he look at the world full of variations in qualities and likability and all? Or does it transcend this individual view and rest in Brahman where everything is just one? Everything is lovable. Everything is one. Everything is same. Nothing is less than anything. Whole thing is one Brahman. See how beautiful it is. So, ihaiva nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Tasmat Brahmani te sthitah. So this is the Jnani's behavior. Behavior is I think an Indian term. Behavior means Jnani's outlook, let us say. Jnani's outlook, Jnani's relationship. How does he look at them? How does he relate to them? How does he react to them? All this put together we call behavior. See, behavior is a very peculiar term in Sanskrit. How does he look at them? How does he understand them? How does he take them? And how does he react to them, relate to them? How does he react and relate? The reaction and relationship applies to the variations of the world and people. He transcends that where he has no reaction other than himself. He has no relationship other than himself. That is, everything is himself. A spontaneous, loving, natural relationship where everything is seen as one with me. Okay. Therefore, nirdosham hi samam Brahma. Brahma is a one, absolute, and a nirdosha, free from all variations. Okay. Tasmat Brahmani te stitah. Therefore, such Jnanis, how do they relate to Brahman? How do they relate to the truth? They stand as the truth. They understand the truth as themselves, not as an individual. By negating their individuality, which gives rise to these preferences of good and bad and likable, dislikable, right and wrong, all those things. So he transcends to such a level where everything becomes one and non-dual. Okay. Tasmat Brahmani te sthitah. Now the same thing continues in the 20th shloka. only 5 minutes are remaining. We just say little bit and conclude it. We shall continue in the next Sunday. I think 2 or 3 Sundays. I think two or three Sundays I gave a gap due to some reason. Anyway. So na prahrushyet priyam prapya nodvijed prapya cha priyam sthira buddhirasam mudho brahmavid brahmani sthitaha. The 20th shloka. Na prahrushyet priyam prapya. See how the people react and show the jnani how transcends them. Here, this is the way of telling. People generally, normal people, how do they respond? How they react? How they look at, how they take, and how they react. How they look at, how do they relate to, and how do they react. Okay, these three things. How he looks at them in the 18th shloka. How he relates to them, next shloka. How he reacts to them in this 20th shloka. That means his whole outlook, relationship, and reaction is totally of different level, unlike any normal individual human being. Okay. So, na prahrushyet priyam prapya. By finding, by getting, by obtaining a pleasant thing, he doesn't rejoice. Means he doesn't feel that any achievement is a great achievement. Any acquiring is not a great acquirement, because what he is, his nature of Brahman is more than any achievement in his life. That's why more than any pleasant thing in his life. Because his very nature is much more happy, absolute happiness. Therefore, he finds no other event, no other experience in life can give him more than what he already is. It cannot give him. It cannot give him happiness more than what he already is. His very nature is absolute ananda. Therefore, any acquiring, any achievement, any gain looks small like a child. It doesn't make him elated. Oh, I got it. See, small baby finds some plaything. You give these things, oh, baby, how he rejoices, feels happy that I got a plaything. But same elderly man, you get the plaything. It doesn't mean anything, because he is much more than the things, much more than the plaything. What a playful thing a doll can give you. What a doll can give you, is too little compared to what you already are. What I am is already an absolute happiness. So what I get looks too small, too insignificant compared to what I am. Therefore, na prahrushyet priyam prapya. Jnani is not elated. I think I touched in my previous class two things. When you find pleasant experiences, pleasant things coming to you, pleasant events happen to you, or unpleasant, pleasant and unpleasant events happen to you, or pleasant and unpleasant things and people come to you. You come in contact with pleasant and unpleasant things. How do you react? He says, na prahrushyet. So this reaction of not rejoicing, not depressing, getting depressed, not getting elated, not feeling sad, neither rejoices nor feels sad. So these things, freedom from rejoicing and sadness, freedom from feeling sad, these two can be understood at two levels. One is at the Karma Yoga level, where the mind is there. When you interact with things and beings around, when you acquire something appealing, something good, something great you get, something good and great you achieve in life, you come to have, you feel little elated, at least a little elated. In Karma Yoga level, you see everything as Ishvara, therefore don't feel elated. See that you got to see Ishvara's Leela in these different ways. That itself is a matter of joy for you. Here, your reactions are sublimated. It is at the level of mind, because when you are practicing karma yoga, still you are a jiva, still you have got a mind. At that level, mind doesn't overreact. Mind takes them as a blessing of Ishvara, as a blessing of your, or as a gift of your beloved. So you take all of them naturally, without discriminating your reactions against things. This is karma yoga level. So there is a conscious effort on your part to take them lightly, all of them in a similar way, all of them in a happy way. But there is another level where you transcend the mind and look at the world as a Brahman. Then you see everything as Brahman alone. There, then how do you interpret this shloka at that level? He becomes free from the fluctuations of joy and sadness. He becomes free from the fluctuations. So the freedom from the fluctuations of joy and sadness is two levels. One is at the level of mind, another is you understand the very mind is mithya, mind is a adhyasa. You wake up from dream and you are Brahman. First is a karma yoga level, second is a jnana level. Jnani, by transcending, means by falsifying that everything. Falsifying means by understanding the entire world and its relationship, mind's experiences, all of them are like dream. I wake up from dream, I discover I am the absolute. I don't relate to the world as an individual, but the world, my individuality and relationship, all the three I swallow into myself and I stand as one non-dual Brahman. Therefore, jnanis transcending these fluctuations of ragadvesha, of joy and sorrow. Okay, jnanis, joy and suffering. Jnanis transcending joy and suffering means he understands them like a dream and he stands as a Brahman. At karma yoga level, you have pain and suffering, pleasant and unpleasant experiences. Only thing is your reactions you control. You react more positive way, more patiently, with a forgiving way, more in a pleasant way. So the sense organ level and mind level, you have various experiences, but your heart receives them positively, doesn't get upset, neither gets overjoyed nor gets saddened, nor feels saddened. He takes them little lightly through mind. So in karma yoga, there is an effort involved in continuously maintaining the composure of your mind, tranquility of your mind. But in jnani's level, he transcends like waking up from dream. He falsifies, negates adhyasa, sees the snake as inseparable from rope, sees the garland as inseparable from rope. That means he transcends the world and the individuality who is experiencing it, sees himself as one Brahman. So here, na prahrushyet priyam prapya, he doesn't get shaken, disturbed when he finds a pleasant thing experience, nor he becomes sad when an unpleasant experience comes. That means he is free from the very mind, he is just a Brahman, no question of any reaction. Okay? No question of any reaction. Therefore, no naprahrushyet priyam prapya no dvijet, udvega is getting disturbed. Neither he gets disturbed with certain events and anything in life, nor he becomes elated and overjoyed with something, because he sees all of them are like just a dream. They are inseparable with my nature, Brahman alone. Then the Brahman being absolute, sthira buddhi, he remains sthira. Because as a Brahman alone, he can remain sthira. Otherwise, how else can be remain sthira? Asam mudaha is free from ignorance, free from delusion. See, this is very important. Vedanta talks of disillusionment, free from delusion. not get carried away, attracted by things. He sees them, external forms are just dummy, doesn't attract him any event, good and bad. He sees directly the nature of Brahman. Okay, Brahmavit, he is a knower of a Brahman. Brahman sthitaha, he knows Brahman and stands as Brahman. That means there is no knower known duality. Knower is Brahman, known is Brahman. That means knower known duality is transcended and you remain non-dual Brahman. Okay, so this is what the 20th shloka says, and then the 21st we shall continue in the next class. Okay, Om. I think with the two shlokas, 21 and 22. Oh, I think 23rd also, 24th also. All these are Brahman nature alone he is describing. Okay. All this Jnani's nature, Jnani's reaction, Jnani's relationship, Jnani's reaction, relationship, all these things, outlook, all these don't exist. He is only showing how Jnani's his experience is different from worldly experiences, an ordinary jiva's experience. Therefore, in contrast, he is negating all these jiva's outlook, jiva's understanding, jiva's reaction, all these things he is negating. So, Jnanis is not a reaction, Jnanis is not a relationship, Jnanis is not thinking or understanding, Jnanis is one with Brahman alone. Just to contrast with Ajnanis or a jiva's view, Jnani is also stated to have a relationship, stated to have an understanding. In fact, he has neither understanding nor relationship nor evaluation. All that he just gives up. He remains as one non-dual Brahman. Okay. I think I'm tired. We'll stop with this. In the next class, we'll continue the 21st shloka. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.